With UFC 265 lacking somewhat in terms of star power and depth on the main card, it still does possess one of the most colorful characters in promotional history.
Derrick, why'd you take your pants off?
My balls was hot. I'm from Texas. I'm not with all this snow, man. Y'all can have that for real.
I'm holding my gas in and trying to breathe at the same time. I just didn't want in front of national TV.
What's your issue with Daniel?
He disrespect that Popeye's chicken on the commercial for years.
While Lewis might be one of a kind on the microphone, make no mistake, he has the type of power that can separate you from your consciousness in a split second. And no man in company history has more knockouts inside the octagon than the Black Beast. But the one thing Lewis lacks on his impressive UFC resume is a championship belt, as he fell short in his first attempt against former double champ Daniel Cormier. Now healthier than he's been in years and riding a 4-fight win streak, Lewis will get a shot at the interim crown, but has a very dangerous opponent in front of him. Ciryl Gane hasn't been in the UFC long, but he made his impact felt right away. In less than 2 years after making his octagon debut, the unbeaten Frenchman will get his chance to hoist the title. Ultimately, the real prize for the winner will be getting a shot at the undisputed belt and quite possibly the baddest man on the planet in Francis Ngannou, who will seize the moment in Lewis's hometown return to Houston, Texas. Expect fireworks early at UFC 265.
We're just one night away from UFC 265, headlined by Derrick Lewis and Ciryl Gane. The interim heavyweight title fight added to beef up the card with Amanda Nunes and Juliana Peña's bantamweight title fight. However, the Lioness tested positive for COVID-19 and is out. Brian Campbell, who got us hyped for this fight, caught up with Ciryl Gane on Morning Combat and asked him about going up against Houston's golden child.
This is make more challenge for me, but I like that because I love to be an outsider. I like that. I like to be an outsider, and I want to prove in front of the hostile fan is going to be great for me. It's going to be good. This is going to push me to make more pressure on my opponent.
I mean, do you expect that they're going to boo you? Is that something that can happen here?
Boo you? Oh yes. This is a sport and this is a show, and the people like to enjoy enjoy himself. Yes, to enjoy himself. So yes, of course. Me, when I go to the match of soccer, I like to say boo, of course.
Oh, UFC fans are notorious for booing foreigners. That's what they do. You want more BC? We've got more BC here in HQ AM. So, BC, there's still room on the hype train for Ciryl Gane. My goodness, an opportunity here to become the interim heavyweight champion. Give me the storyline, more takeaways from your conversation with the Frenchman.
Yeah, look, this is such an interesting situation for Gane. Let's be realistic about where he's at. He's 31 years old. He's only been fighting professional MMA for 3 years. Less than a decade ago, he moved from his hometown in France to Greater Paris to study business. He was working at a furniture store when someone said, hey, why don't you come to a Muay Thai gym with me? This is not somebody who grew up in the fight game, and I think that's what makes his style different. Talking to Gane, who at 6'5", really moves like a middleweight out there, he credits his background in soccer and basketball for his footwork, which is not natural for the cage. Of course, he started in Muay Thai, as I mentioned, but his transition into MMA has been as quick as we have seen anyone this side of Brock Lesnar become a legitimate title contender. His decision wins back-to-back over Jairzinho Rozenstruik and also Alexander Volkov put him on the map in terms of being legit. Now he's a betting favorite heading in there in his opponent's backyard, as we mentioned, against slugger Derrick Lewis. But the reason why Gane is the favorite, because despite having just 9 pro fights, he's already proven he's got 5-round gas tank in terms of stamina, and he can do some special things on his feet. He said, look, I don't even know if I'm supposed to have pressure because I'm not really even supposed to be here. This is just what I do. Hey, ignorance is bliss, Tommy. That's how I carry my own career, too. You know, whatever. Let's do it.
And it certainly served you well, buddy. You mentioned in the hype piece the power of Derrick Lewis. How do you anticipate he'll try to maybe either clench things a little bit closer to use that power and go into this 5-round fight?
Well, Derrick Lewis gives you the ultimate puncher's chance, especially if you're looking at this from a betting side, plus over 300 in terms of the odds, but he's very sneaky about it. He'll play possum. Derrick Lewis has battled injuries. He's always been open that he doesn't like to train. So there's times in the cage where, Tommy, he can look like he's out of gas, look like he doesn't have it, but he sets traps. And the thing that's incredible about him is at 6'3", his explosion is just ridiculous. Tied for the record for most knockouts in UFC history. He's also deceptive on the ground. While he doesn't have traditional wrestling technique, he's just so big, you can't keep him down. And if he gets top position on you, he can finish you. I think Lewis knows he's playing with house money here. It's a second chance at a world title. He lost to Daniel Cormier a few years back, but he lingered. He's injury-free for the first time in a while. So he's going to be very dangerous. He doesn't try to win rounds. We know what Derrick Lewis tries to do, knock you out. He'll have 25 minutes to try and do so on Saturday.
Who wins and why, BC?
Look, you like punchers? Take the plus odds on Derrick Lewis because he is that dangerous. He can knock out anybody at any time. But as Floyd Mayweather used to say, skills pay the bills at the end of the day. And Ciryl Gane told me, I feel no pressure to go for the knockout offensively. My style is my style. He actually compared himself to Mayweather from the idea of, look, I'm a technical guy. I go out there and try to not get hit. That's what Gane does best. You're going to give him 25 minutes to do so. I think he can work negatively against Lewis's gas tank. And I think Ciryl Gane can win a 5-round decision here by being quick on his feet, by outlanding Lewis, but being smart enough to avoid the big one. Gane has been very impressive up to this point. Yes, this is the biggest challenge for him, but I think he'll pass it.
It's interesting. You bring up, you think 5 full rounds here. It's interesting. I looked at the betting market, BC. Handicappers think this will go 3 rounds, but the juice is under on 4. So why do you anticipate this will go the full 25?
Look, Gane isn't known for one punch power. He did tell me I got 9 pro fights. I've given you 3 knockouts, 3 submissions, and 3 decisions. But certainly when Gane has stepped up to this higher level, he's more of a volume puncher in that regard. And Derrick Lewis has an incredible chin. He can gas out, and that's been some of his losses, including the loss to Junior Dos Santos, a fight that he was largely winning until that point. But I think Derrick Lewis, with the hometown boosting him, will stay in that mode of looking for one big counter shot. But he's not going to get finished. Gane's going to outwork him, but I think this one goes the full distance.
Big picture here, if Ciryl Gane does get the interim heavyweight title, are all roads leading a potential Ngannou-Gane matchup potentially in Europe?
Without question. Obviously, John Jones is still in this equation. We know he's having issues with UFC brass regarding money, but aside from that, this has been set up to have the winner face Francis Ngannou. Ngannou won the title a little more than 3 months ago in Stipe Miocic. He wasn't ready for this return right here. He said he can be as ready as September. The key here is that Gane comes from the same gym, MMA Factory in Paris, as Ngannou. Francis, unfortunately, had a rough falling out with the gym and cut ways. But you're looking at the idea of a French-born fighter in Ciryl Gane, a fighter from Cameroon, Ngannou, who came of age in France. Let's remember, the sport of MMA was banned in France for 15 years up until 2020. The UFC likes to move around globally. They know the potential inroads of having 2 French-made fighters, maybe in Paris for the UFC heavyweight title. Sounds like it's too good to be true, like a Hollywood script. It could go in that direction if Gane gets his hand raised.
That would be fantastic. And getting back to tomorrow night, everybody had some opinions about Dana White, why he put this fight together, but thankfully he did it because the Amanda Nunes fight is taken off because of COVID. So you look at the rest of the board, the rest of the main card. What do you like?
There's some good matchups here from the top 10 in divisions. Bantamweight, Jose Aldo, the former featherweight champ. This is going to be a slugfest against Pedro Munhoz. The odds are close. They both are one-punch knockout guys at this weight class. Aldo, of course, has the longer reach and the greater experience. But watch that welterweight tilt between Michael Chiesa and Vicente Luque. Even though Chiesa's the betting underdog here, he's the only one in this top 7 not coming off a loss who hasn't fought Kamaru Usman yet. I believe with a big finish, if he can get it on the ground, you could see Chiesa cutting the line and maybe getting next for Usman after he has his rematch with Colby Covington. Obviously, Luque has won 10 of 11. He's red hot, so this should be a very interesting matchup for title picture placement in that 170-pound division.
Love it. Outside of that main event, those odds are really close, essentially a pick 'em in every single fight. BC, certainly appreciate it. Thank you as always. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the pay-per-view. Morning Combat with Brian Campbell and Luke Thomas. They're talking to Chad Mendes, Laurel Hubbard in Luke Thomas's live chat, and they're getting you ready for 265, Lewis and Gane from H-Town.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.